Hello, hello, hello. I've had to use a different strategy to go live tonight. It's 340 consecutive days of Facebook Lives. So I thought I would do something a bit different. So the first thing I thought I would do is I would stream not only to my Facebook personal profile, but also into the Vibes Tribes group because the Vibers have been there for a lot of the long journey that I've been out online, coming up to 14 years this year, so it's about 13 and a half now. He's a teenager. So I thought I would share this and you'll see why. So many of you who have known me for a long time will know that even before I started really sort of diving in with visibility and the visibility vibes, that I was a speaker trainer. I used to help people with their presentations. I used to help people who were nervous speakers. I used to help people to kind of structure what they wanted to say. I used to help people who really didn't want to speak or didn't feel like they had to speak publicly. And I absolutely adored doing that. And I still adore doing that now. And then over the years, the visibility vibes came. Now, I was talking to one of my clients yesterday, and they were saying, yeah, I know it's visibility vibes, but I don't even know what the 5 pillars are. So for those of you that are paying attention, you can see, oops, I've got to do everything in mirror now in reverse, haven't I? I bought these little cards years ago, and I've just had them for years. I've used them at events and all sorts of things like that. And I think one of them I might have given, like written a message to somebody, so giving it away in a message. And by the way, if you're watching, because I'm streaming this through StreamYard, will you type and say hello so that I know that this is working and that sounds okay? I'll come on to why I'm doing it this way in a second. But I gave the eye away. So I thought I would put little Jenny Doll. So Jenny Doll makes the eye of vibes, because actually if you write in Gift Wish, the name of my company, the eyes are lowercase i's, everything else is capital. And if you're looking at writing the Vibers, there's lots of different ways to do that too. Anyway, so why am I streaming this way? Between today and yesterday, I have live streamed 4 times, delivered 4 live streams. And when I've tried to do it from my phone, so I take it that whoever that was that popped on there, maybe you can't hear me. Oh, well, I'll carry on. So what happened with those lives was I had to keep stopping and pausing. And I don't mind doing it once every now and then, but having to do it all the way through, because apparently my signal was dropping, it's really, really annoying, because literally as I'm speaking and I notice it drops, I pause like that in the middle of it and then carry on. So just in case you're wondering, there's nothing wrong with it at the moment. That's me doing that. So I don't know if it's my phone. I've got a gazillion apps on my phone and the memory's getting quite full, even though I pay for extra storage. Probably something to do with the 32,000 photos that I've got on my phone, some of which are videos. So it's time for me to kind of do a dump of those. But I wanted to talk about Change Your Pitch Up, which reminds me of a little song I know. I'll leave you to guess which song that is. So why am I talking about this today? Well, today, in the course of my work, we're on day 2 of the visibility game, the video game I like to call it, which is confidence on camera. Let me take a sip of my drink. So we're on day 2, confidence on camera. We've got 2 tracks running. We've got the standard track, which people are welcome to replay over and over again. And then we've got the Not My First Rodeo track, which is a deepening, a higher, kind of a higher level. So for those ready and willing and able to take on a challenge, not only are they doing the 12 days, but they also are creating content behind the scenes, obviously preferably video, but it can also be written posts. And I'm encouraging them to go hard on it at the moment and just like post that out on a daily basis. If you are up to your eyes in work, then obviously you're not going to be able to do that. But if you have got some sort of downtime, quiet time, and you create time, because let's face it, we all are busy, we all have to make the time, then you can experience a big and a very speedy, fast acceleration of your own visibility. So, as well as watching their videos, commenting on their videos, and making notes for feedback, because a number of people have upgraded to VIP, which means that they get 3 feedback videos from me. 3 feedback videos from me on all 12 of their videos, and they get a private call with me as well. And they get to, like, they get it recorded, they get to keep it. So that's what I was doing today, as well as speaking to a few lovely people throughout the day, as well as watching some pitches. So I was watching some pitches, and there were so many tips I can share, which is the reason why I'm streaming this both in the Visibility Vibes Tribe group and on my page. Because whether you're pitching for business, whether you're pitching and hoping somebody will buy something from you, whether you're pitching yourself in an interview at work, whether you're pitching yourself for a promotion, pitching yourself to take over a product or a service, pitching yourself to take over a position, pitching the book that you want to write, pitching the products that you want somebody to stock for you, pitching your company's business in terms of the services, their value proposition, or any of those things as well. Anytime we give a presentation, we're usually selling ourselves or selling something. It could be a message, it could be a movement, it could be ethos, it could be a physical product, it could be a service, it could be a mixture of both. It could be your consulting, it could be what you do in your freelancing, it could be what you want to write about. It could even be what you want to consult with others about. Whatever thing that feels important to you, you're likely to be pitching. So I don't want you to think that pitching is always just about ramming something down somebody's throat and hoping that they'll buy it. But what I did want to do is, of the pitches that I watched, and there's a couple of things which I'll explain, there were some tips in there that I wanted to share with you. There were so many tips in there that I can't possibly share them all in one live stream. It's just too many. So because it's Tip Tuesday and hashtag Tip Tuesday, and anyone that's been in my world will know that I remind them, whether they're online, offline, on social media or somewhere else, to remember every Tuesday, oh, it's Tuesday. Today would be a good day for me to share a tip. Let me move. Keep catching sight of vibes up there. And I think it looks really cool. Just my opinion. So I don't want to keep putting my head in the way. So there's 2 things to think about. Whether you are the person presenting, i.e. giving the pitch, delivering the pitch, or whether you're the person listening. There's a couple of different rules. So if you're the person being pitched to, it's likely that you're going to be sat on a panel. If you're the person that's taking questions from an audience on stage at a speaking gig, it's likely that you're going to be taking questions from the audience or from the moderator or anybody else. So there's some things for you to do and you to pay attention to. And then there's some things for those of you who are actually presenting your products and services. Maybe you're giving a classic pitch, or maybe you're giving a presentation and you want somebody to take you up on your proposal, forthcoming proposal, or to take you up on, and that's a business proposal, not marriage proposal. I'd hope you're not having to pitch that, because that would just be wrong, wouldn't it? And it could be that you are looking to deliver serious value and get somebody's buy-in, whether it's their emotions, whether it's their money, whether it's their company, whether it's the job that they're offering. There'll be things that you want to do. So first up, if you are on a panel of people, here were some of the observations that I made or notes that I made from the observations in a couple of the things that I saw. The first one, I want to say, was a classic. There is a proper name for this, which I always forget. And the man always goes, yeah, it's called so-and-so. And it's this: the ups and downs of being taken seriously. Now, for some reason, whenever I work with cis women, they're normally the ones to tell me they want to be taken more seriously. They say, oh, well, I say things at work and maybe people think I'm joking or they're not sure. I propose something in a meeting, and 2 minutes later, when usually somebody who's a cis male proposes exactly the same thing, everyone's like, hurrah, hurrah, here we go. No shade, but that's the truth of what I experience. And you've got to remember when I say this, 80% of my private clients are male as well, cis male. Okay, so just so you know, I'm not having a pop or a dig. One of the reasons for this, well, there's normally a couple of reasons when it comes to cis women, and it's important to state cis women, because if you're not a cis woman, or you're non-binary, there are different behaviors and different attributes that you sometimes display, which kind of sometimes are connected to both genders and sometimes are connected to neither gender. Okay, so the ups and downs of being taken seriously, two things that I see people do. And when I say these, don't go into fear or shame or thinking that you're being judged. Take this as this is. It's an observation. It's something that I'm sharing with you. And if you recognize yourself doing it and you would rather not do it anymore, then you can take the decision to stop. If you need help with that, please contact me. Either go to bit.ly, as in bit.ly / I am visible. I can't put it in the notes down here because I can't, for some reason, I can't send it, even though I've got a paid version of StreamYard. Very strange. Anyway, so if you go to bit.ly / I am visible, what you'll get is a visibility boost quiz. It will take you less than 7 minutes. Some people it's taken like 4.5 minutes. It's got a number of questions that take you through the visibility vibe system. But those questions, when you answer it, will give you at the end of the quiz, will give you a dashboard, if you like, a scoreboard of a percentage of how visible you are in certain areas, and it'll break down the areas for you. Nice little donut chart, all of that kind of stuff. Absolutely free, my compliments. And I say with my compliments because you don't have to pay to do it, but I have to pay to keep that one in and develop it. So it's not just something I'm throwing out there that isn't of any value. The other thing you can do is if you go to thequeenofbeingseen.com, you'll be able to schedule a call with me for us to have a discussion and find out whether I can help you, whether there's something that I can do if we work together to help you, to become more visible. And that could be through speaking, it could be through video, it could be through a mixture, it could be page, stage and screen, basically. It could be all of them, as one of the clients that I'm working with at the moment is kind of launching or relaunching something that they do. And I'm kind of helping them over a 6-month period with lots of different bits and pieces. Okay, so the ups and downs of being taken seriously. Do you do this? So you'll notice that I've been speaking to you, and luckily for me, I've got quite a low, deep tonality to my voice, although I feel like I've got a frog in my throat. Might have been something that I put in my brown stew chicken earlier. I tried to spice it up a bit, and anyone that knows me well knows that I don't do spicy. But here's the first thing that you'll notice. If I kept speaking to you like this and asking you if you could just pay attention to me, just listen to what I say, you'd either think I'd spent some time in Australia, no offense to my Aussie friends, or you'd wonder if I'm kind of desperately pleading with you. Because if my voice goes up like this, then it has a bit of a pleading air. Even speaking like this makes me pull the face of a 3-year-old, and it will have me wonder later on why everybody who is hearing me speak like this isn't really taking me very seriously. And that's because I talk about the ups and downs of being taken seriously. A high percentage of cis women do this. In presentations, the caregiver comes out of them. even if they don't have families and stuff of their own, the caregiver comes out, the "Are you all right?" comes out, and sometimes the little girl voice leaks out. Now, even if the little girl voice doesn't leak out, the little girl essence does come out. And as Morabian, although I know other sources are kind of now out there and out in the world, but as Morabian's protocol said, only 7% of our communication is through our actual words. The rest of it is tonality and body language. So if you keep speaking to everyone like this around the board table, do you think that's a good idea? Do you think we should do this? What do you think? Shall I go and get us all a cup of coffee? Who would like a cup of coffee? Then you can hear why the voice tonality changes, and you might not be taken so seriously. So the other thing that I will say is there are some men who behave in this way, and again, cis men who behave in this way as well. They use an energy that then kind of takes them out of the game and leaves them open, especially if they're in the wrong kind of environment, to ridicule from others, with people going, "Only joking, mate, only messing around, just a bit of banter," that kind of thing. So watch the tonality of your voice, and you can play with both of those. One invites, say, questions, interest, and the other one just kind of like calms the credibility, displays credibility. Okay. And the interesting thing was this happened on the panel. So these poor people are quaking in their boots because they're about to go up and give their pitch. And it's a really nerve-wracking thing to do. They're about to go up and give their pitch. They're nervous about it. And before anything's even really sort of got off to a flying start, the facilitator is like, "Oh, who would like to speak next? Who would like that?" And that can have an effect on the audience. It's funny because I am very interested in people's micro expressions. It's not something I teach, it's not something that I share, but I'm very interested in it. And the micro expressions, mainly from the rest of the panel, were a bit kind of, they might as well just rolled their eyes, shaken their heads. So that's one thing. The other thing that I hear a lot, and this is usually because we feel under pressure, we have such a thing called an internal dialogue. Now, that internal dialogue is the little voice that tells us at the end of the evening, "You've had too much to drink, it's time for you to go home, time to leave the party," and we can choose to listen to it or ignore it. Our inner dialogue tells us a lot of things, so much so that for some people it's like a running commentary, and they're so used to it being there that they don't actually hear it anymore. So they'll go to do something, maybe give a talk, and somebody else on the team could give the talk, and they will talk themselves out of it and say, "No, this person's better, we've got a better chance with them." It's a little bit behind the reason why some people will look at a job application and say, "Yeah, I can do 75% of that, but I can't do the other 25, so I'm not going to bother." That's already an internal dialogue, a thought, a belief that comes into fruition and comes out. And where I see this in presentations, speaking gigs, and pitches is where people get nervous and the internal dialogue becomes an external dialogue. They step onto the stage. They've managed to hold it together body language wise. They look credible, and then they go, "Do forgive me. I really am not very good at public speaking. I don't really like it very much, but I'm going to do it anyway." I mean, think about this for a minute. When your internal dialogue becomes an external dialogue and you say this to the people in the room, it's not that you're saying this to the people in the room. It's not about judgment or being judged. It's about what you've just affirmed to yourself and affirmed to everybody else around you out loud, so that you can hear it again because it's already been whirring around in your head, and so that they can hear it. So if that is something that you're likely to do, then find a way to stop it. And it's really difficult. It might be, "Oh, I just won't say it." But when you're under the cosh, under pressure, very nervous, it is likely to come out. So in the first round of pitches today, the person's nervous tick, if you like, came out when they looked down the panel and said, "Who would like to go first?" very nervously. Hello, hello, hello. Who's that? Let me know who you are. It says Facebook user. Hello, Jenny. They looked very nervously, the moderator, down the panel and said, "Who would like to go first?" And then the internal dialogue came out. "Well, I think I'll go for the person that looks most nervous," they said, looking down. And then they named one of the people on the panel. Now, this person was, I would say, body language might have made them look like they were nervous, but they definitely weren't. Hey, Tristan, good to see you. They definitely weren't. They definitely weren't nervous. But what a thing to say. You're sat on the panel, you're thinking about the words, you may be about to introduce yourself, which is nerve-wracking in itself, on a panel in a room full of people. I know, I've been there, I've done it. And somebody says, "Oh, let's go with, well, Jenny, you look nervous. Let's start with you." You know? So, like, really pay attention for when your internal dialogue becomes your external dialogue. Hello. See, this is what I see. Facebook user. Hello. So I'm going to shout out our aspiring budding musician, rapper extraordinaire, Bayesian blood family. Good to see you on here. So, and if you're watching as well, just say hi. But because I don't know who you are, you'll need to just say, "It's me, so-and-so," and put your name. Okay, so we've gone 21 minutes, quite a long time for Facebook Live. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh my gosh, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm not going to go through all of them. If you want to hear more about presentations with style or pitching or anything else like that, or even presentations that sell, one of my signature parts of the Visibility Vibe system, then let me know. So just in case you're wondering, what is in the Visibility Vibe system? What are these 5 key pillars? Well, first of all, I'm just going to bring something up on my screen. But first of all, it's, yes, I've got what I needed. It's 5 key repeatable and well and truly tried and tested pillars that if you are looking to raise your professional profile, put yourself out there and be consistently visible, they're the 5 most effective things to do. Now, underneath all of those, there's other things. So if you remember it by the word vibes, visibility, impact, biography, energy, and speaking, like I say, there's a bit more underneath. The first step is about being high impact visibility, is actually how it was first designed. So this isn't just dipping your toe in the water and hoping that you're going to be out there. This is about a high impact, highly memorable, highly credible, high gravitas. The second piece is about helping you, I guess, become iconic. Can you see that? Iconic with impact. This makes you very, very hard to ignore. It puts a certain magic in your message and it has you be remembered and memorable. So there's being remembered, where you could be remembered for the wrong reasons, and there's being memorable. Third part, I like to call it the booked out bio. If you want to speak more and get yourself out there, there is such a thing as a booked out bio, and there's also your signature story. And one of the biggest misconceptions about visibility is that this is all about you and all around you. Now, I've got quite a personal brand, so a lot of it is me, but there are stories to my story, and there's a signature story, the reason why I do this work, why I do it, why I want to combat crisis of confidence in people, because I believe that people are confident, but sometimes their confidence gets buried just for a little bit, and we just need to dig a little bit and bring it back out to the light. E, the energy part, is all about but what shall I share, Jenny? And that age-old question, who are you? Who are you really? Really? In a way that comes out on a screen, in a way that comes out on a stage, in a way that people feel when you're in the room. What's your vibe? Your real vibe, not a performative, look at me, I'm performing for the screen, but what's your real vibe? And then the S has got two themes. There's all about speaking. So presentations that sell come under that as well. But there's also the speaking, like visibility for difficult conversations. Many of you as leaders will have difficult conversations every day. I was speaking to somebody recently who needs to have a difficult conversation. And I think the thought of it is often worse than doing it. But it could be difficult conversations with family, friends, customers, clients, at work. It could be anything. And underneath that then becomes cash flow conversations, like I say, presentations that sell, and being able to speak out authentically. So there's a lot of work to this. If you ever wonder why I don't share everything in a 25-minute live, it's because I can't possibly, there's so much of it. So I want to say thank you for watching, and I want to ask you to do a favor. If you or someone you know needs to put themselves out there more professionally, needs to be more credible. Maybe they're going for a job interview. Maybe they are looking for a pay rise or promotion. Maybe they've got their own company or business or thinking of starting one. Will you send them this video? You can just click on the share link underneath and share it with them. Now, for those of you that are in the Vibes Tribe, you're not going to be able to share it outside of the group. But if you go over to my personal page, not the Queen of Being Seen page, but my actual personal Facebook page, you'll be able to either share from there or tag somebody underneath. And I'll also probably get this playing out on YouTube as well. So just find my channel by @Jenny Kovacs. So remember, if you want to look at a way or some ways that we might be able to work together, ways that you can work with me, ways that I can work with you, then please go over to thequeenofbeingseen.com and schedule a call there. It's a complimentary call, but I'm not going to sit there and have my brains picked. I'll ask you a lot of questions. We'll dig deeper into where you want to go next. And for many people at the moment, it's actually speaking, so that they can really present their work in a really kind of credible and efficient way. But for other people, it's like the video stuff is stopping them. Maybe they use Microsoft Teams a lot. Maybe they have to give presentations. I spoke to someone before Christmas who told me that they come on, say hi, and then they turn their camera off. And they're one of the senior leadership team. And I'm convinced that their team think they're rude, they're disinterested, they're, stacking furniture, or doing something that they shouldn't be doing, when actually this can be one of the biggest credibility deals. And many of the people in that bracket will come and work with me just in a bite-sized way for a month, so that we can kind of go through what it is they need, and off they go. And I hear from them sometimes weeks later, sometimes months later, even years later, and they say lovely things like the lovely lady did on LinkedIn, who posted publicly and said, "Jenny, I don't think you understand how profound your work was for me." Oh my gosh, it's hard for me to even repeat that without crying. That's the kind of difference it makes. This visibility work is about you, not about me. This visibility work means that your voice matters. And this visibility work means that you can get out there unapologetically and share your gifts with the world. That's it. Night. Bye for now. Thank you for watching.